Meet Robert, sitting at his office desk, staring at his paycheck with a puzzled expression. Even after working long hours every week, he notices that his paycheck barely covers his bills. He can't help but wonder how someone with the exact same job could somehow become financially free. Curious to find the answer, he visits Rich Dad again, notebook in hand, eager to learn another life-changing lesson. Rich Dad smiles and asks, "Robert, what's the difference between your profession and your business?" Robert scratches his head, unable to answer. Rich Dad explains that a profession is what you do to earn a paycheck, but your business is what builds your wealth. He goes on to say that most people spend their entire lives building someone else's business instead of their own. And those words hit Robert hard. To make the lesson clearer, Rich Dad tells him about two friends, Alex and Ben, who both earned the same salary. Alex spent every paycheck on the latest phones, new clothes, and eating out, enjoying the moment without thinking much about the future. Ben, however, quietly set aside part of his income every month. He bought a few shares, invested in mutual funds, and slowly saved toward purchasing a small rental property. 5 years later, the difference was remarkable. Alex still depended completely on his job to pay his monthly bills, while Ben's investments were generating income even while he slept. Robert is amazed as the comparison finally makes perfect sense. Rich Dad smiles and says, "That is what it means to mind your own business." Robert eagerly asks how he can start building his own business while still keeping his regular job. Rich Dad encourages him to start small by buying income-generating assets and allowing them to grow quietly in the background. He compares investing to planting a small tree. At first, it requires patience, care, and consistency, but after a few years, it begins producing fruit season after season. Then he offers another powerful analogy, explaining that every investment is like hiring a tiny worker who works for you 24 hours a day without ever asking for a holiday. Inspired by the idea, Robert returns home and begins tracking every dollar he earns and spends. He carefully sets aside part of each paycheck into an investment fund, determined to build his future instead of simply financing his present. After several weeks of disciplined saving, he buys his first dividend-paying shares. Watching his investments generate even a small amount of passive income fills him with pride because it represents something much bigger than money. It represents freedom. Rich Dad reminds him that this is only the beginning and encourages him to keep investing consistently because great wealth is built over time, not overnight. He also shares one final lesson. Look rich later, not now. Let your assets pay for your luxuries, not your loans. As the months pass, Robert's investments continue to grow, creating a steady stream of passive income alongside his regular salary. One day, he proudly shows his father the chart tracking his investments. His father is impressed, not only by the growing numbers, but by Robert's discipline and consistency. Robert explains that his goal isn't to quit his job immediately. Instead, he is building something that belongs to him, while his job continues paying today's bills. His father nods, finally understanding the true power of building assets over time. That evening, Robert quietly updates his investment ledger and reflects on how much his mindset has changed. Before closing his notebook, he writes a simple sentence that captures everything he has learned. Job pays the bills, business builds the future. He then turns toward you with a thoughtful question. If you received your next salary today, would you spend it on something that loses value or on something that builds your future? If you enjoyed this lesson from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. You can also listen to the full audio version on Spotify through the Reading Journey podcast. The Spotify link is available in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in Chapter 4, where we'll continue discovering the powerful lessons that can transform the way you think about money and wealth.